Greetings. Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Jacobson, a board-certified psychiatrist. You know, I find myself actually repeating myself, talking about stuff, about topics that I've talked about before. But, you know, it just seems like it's necessary because these things keep cropping up. And as they crop up, it becomes apparent to me that, obviously the people aren't applying these ideas sufficiently, and they need reminders. We all need reminders. We all need reinforcements. It's really difficult to change. You need to be vigilant over your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions, your emotions. You need to and you need to be able to intervene and stop and think and do a corrective action, which is usually changing negative self-talk to more positive, optimistic, hopeful talk, or seeing something that, instead of seeing something from a fearful, unrealistic way, see it in a more realistic way, which makes it more manageable to deal with. There are so many. You need to practice this stuff. You need to, keep reminding yourself, affirming the person you want to be, reminding yourself of the ways you need to change, you want to change, the way you want to grow, the way you want to see things differently. It takes a lot of work, but it works if you work it. Okay, and one of the things people don't do, is they don't say, yeah, good, great, let's do it. I want to do it. They get a suggestion. Someone gives them an idea. Why don't you try this? No, that's not going to work. Yeah, they have no idea it's not going to work. You have no idea it's not going to work. But you resist. That's resistance. That's fear. Fear of change. Fear of, oh, someone's forcing me to. The best example of this is like an alcoholic. Someone says, you're an alcoholic. And they, no, I'm not. And of course, many alcoholics are in denial. And they go, well, look, you should go to, yeah, you kind of are. And, you should go to a meeting. Or maybe he admits he is an alcoholic. But no, I'm not going to go to a meeting. That's stupid. There's like AA Nazis there, and and they got problems. It's not going to help me. It's not going to work. I'm not really like those people. Whatever. The mind comes up with all sorts of reasons and explanations for negating the suggestion. Okay, so that's what we call contempt prior to investigation. The guy has no idea whether going to an AA meeting will help him or not. He has his biases, and maybe he's heard stories, and he has his fears. But ultimately it's fear of change, fear of having to deal and take responsibility, for yourself and your life and your emotions, etc. And so you reject healthy ideas, good ideas, proactive ideas right out of the gate without even investigating them because you're afraid. Basically, it comes down to you're afraid. So you go into this like denial mode. It's not going to work. And that's negative thinking. And it's a bad idea because you don't really know. You haven't really investigated it to find out if it will work or won't work. And you owe it to yourself to have the courage to do that. Okay, so if someone says you should try AA and you acknowledge you're an alcoholic but you don't want to go to it for whatever reason, you resist it, you should say, okay. You could say, I don't think it's going to work, but I'll give it a shot. I'll test it out, and then you should do that. You should test it out, and you should go to like a bunch of meetings, maybe 2 or 3 a week for a month. And then after doing that for a month, then you can honestly say whether you think it has helped you or not, and whether you should continue or not. And if you decide you don't want to continue, at least you can look someone in the eye and say, I checked it out honestly. I gave it a fair chance without bias and prejudice. I wanted it to work because I want to get better, but it wasn't for me. I need to try something else. We do this a lot. People, your friends, all the time. You think about doing something, or someone tells you, hey, why don't you try this or that? And the first thing is, no, it's not going to work, or I don't want to, or I can't, or why bother, or whatever. We've got this negative thinking going on. We've got this inner critic telling us we're not good enough, it's not going to work out, why bother? That voice needs to be shut down. That voice needs to be shut down. And the only person who's going to do it is you. So the whole point is, you have a choice. how you see the world, how you behave in the world. You have a choice to create the reality that you want, to create the destiny that you want. Ultimately, the point is we are not victims of the world we see. And despite the circumstances that we are born with and how we are raised, and even if our parents were dysfunctional and tied one hand behind our back, getting us to adulthood, right here and now, today, we have a choice to be whoever we want to be, regardless of the lack in our lives, regardless of the limitations in our lives, regardless of the restrictions, regardless of our past failures, regardless of our station in life. Anything is possible if you apply your mind, if you use your mind power in a positive, proactive, healthy way, affirming, visualizing, desiring, staying positive, persisting every day, staying focused, immersing yourself in your goals, in your dreams, doing something every day to push yourself further. Reinforcing, practicing over and over, learning from your mistakes. Okay, not being afraid to look at alternative points of view. That's the big thing. All your dreams, all your goals, all your destinies, everything you want to create, you're not going to do it by living in a box. You're not going to do it by saying no to everything. So this whole idea of contempt prior to investigation. Someone gives you an idea and you say, no, that's not going to work. Don't do that. Catch yourself. Stop. Look at the situation. Evaluate it. And it's very possible that that's what you need to get you closer to your goals, your dreams, your destiny, your ideal destiny. All right, that's it. Take care. See you next time.